Hey there, you're watching Go Island, where it's Art Rave Week.
Aaron Vissia Financial Go Island is brought to you by Aaron Vissia Financial.
Well, hello there. You are watching Go Island. It is Art Rave Week right here in the Alberni Valley. And you probably remember the Art Rave Festival last year. Hugely successful weekend event that saw thousands of people in Port Alberni celebrating the art, celebrating the artists whose works hang on the wall here in the Alberni Pacific Railway Station. Well, last year was so successful that the Alberni Art Rave Society decided to make it a longer event. The festival is still happening next weekend on the August long weekend, but the art is hanging here in the gallery all week long. So we're going to be talking to a couple of the artists today and one of the organizers to tell you a little bit about what's happening all week long and why you should get involved, why you should come out and see some of the art. And we're going to start with one of my favorite artists, Dave Parsonishi, whose work is just so fascinating. Now, Dave, I've talked to you before, and you were involved in Art Rave before. Well, how does it feel to be involved again?
It feels pretty good, actually, to see that the whole event has sort of survived and grown and blossomed. It's awkward in its own weird way, because normally people who do the art sit in your studio, in your shop all winter long or whatever, and you don't really think about it being outside because you're obsessing over it, and then you just sort of, all of a sudden, it's out there and you have to come out and show it to people and stuff. So it's quite neat.
What you're telling me is you're a bit of an artist hermit and you're not used to coming out and interacting with other folks.
Absolute hermit. That's me, totally. Yeah.
Now, your work is always so fascinating. We've done profiles on you before. I find it so Japanese, the smoothness of the wood, the thinness of your characters. Describe your work a little bit to me.
Well, thank you. I try to actually make it very Asian. I think that's the aesthetic I quite enjoy. And in a weird way, there's a Japanese style of carving, and it's called nutsukis, and they're Japanese miniatures, usually in ivory and stuff like that. So I've tried to, in a way, make it nutsukis on a Canadian scale. So they're much larger and they're much more, larger is really the way to say it. It's very similar though, but it's condensed within the medium. And so I try to follow that aesthetic from them and put it into my work and then relate it to who I am.
Well, it is so fascinating, so interesting and intriguing. And your work was on display here last year, and you were also working during the festival. You were outside carving during the festival last year.
And I will be carving again this year. It'll be, I'm not sure whereabouts on the grounds it will be, but it should be a little bit larger. I did a head last year that was probably about this big, but this one will be a taller red cedar piece. It's more of less specifically human form. It's more flowing. It'll still have human components, which is what I generally do, but it'll be more stylistic and elongated.
Oh my gosh, Dave Parsonishi, you're telling me you're doing something non-human but with human components. This is going to be fascinating.
Well, we'll see how it turns out. It could be a catastrophe too. It could be like, oh no, people saw, the truth.
No, I know it's not going to be a catastrophe. Now, we're going to talk a little bit more to another artist. Dave, thank you so much.
Okay, well, thank you.
But first, we're going to go to a couple of stories. Jose Araujo gets the down low on urban chickens, and I met a local grandmother who wrote a book about her grandson. Well, welcome back. You are still watching Go Island. We are still here at the Art Rave Gallery in the historic Alberni Pacific Railway Station because this is Art Rave Week in the Alberni Valley. The full festival happens on the August long weekend coming up, but the art is hanging right now, and you've got to come out and see it because you will be amazed at how this building has been transformed into a gallery, and the quality of the work on the walls is just amazing. And now we're going to talk to somebody who's responsible for some of that quality, Todd Robinson, who has been one of the jurors this year. Todd, this had to be a challenging job to choose the art.
It was, but it was a lot of fun. Like Walter Collins and myself did all the jurying this year, and it was nice to see people from last year sending in works again, but it was really great to see a lot of newcomers and a lot of people from actually outside the valley. So that kind of shows us that the show is getting bigger now.
And there's such a diversity of works here. There's high, what I would call realism to almost abstract to abstract.
Yep.
Is that reflective of the variety that was submitted?
Yes, it is. It was really a big variety this year. So it was really interesting going through all the pieces and looking at the photos and checking out all the different artists that were applying. And we just wanted something very unique, something that just covered the whole spectrum of what this show is all about.
And you're one of the artists who has moved into Port Alberni, who has made Port Alberni your home. Do you think this is a good thing for the Valley, this festival?
Definitely. I mean, it's something that's been needed for a long time. And just the fact that now it's grown so much just since last year, I think is a real testament to the organizers and the volunteers putting on this show.
Absolutely. And, you know, Todd is an artist himself, as we just alluded to. Some of your work is on display here as well.
Yes, I got one piece here that I wanted to put in this year. And it was, they wanted the theme to be forests. My work is mostly known for being more marine life. And basically, I just wanted, people to see that, yeah, we do actually have forests under the waves too.
It's a kelp forest.
Exactly.
Now, why do you think people should come out to see this show? Because some people are going to say, yeah, but I don't go to art galleries.
It's something new. People have to get out. If you have to embrace the new sometimes. And I think it's a great place for people to come down, see what actually we have in the Valley, how many great artists are here, and, be proud of what we have here.
Absolutely. I'm going to second that. Thank you so much, Todd, for telling me about it.
No problem.
You heard it from Todd. You've got to come down and see how much there is to be proud of in this valley. The quality of work on the walls is amazing. Some of the artists are from outside of the valley. I believe they're all from Vancouver Island this year. Yes, Todd is nodding. Come on down and take a look. Now, we're going to talk to an organizer in a few minutes and tell you a little bit more about what else is happening all week and on the weekend. But first, we're going to head off to the Maritime Discovery Centre and learn a little bit about his show. Well, hello again. You are still watching Go Island. We are still talking about Art Rave because it is Art Rave week here in the Alberni Valley. And if you don't know about that, well, you better listen up because something big is happening in your hometown. And we've been talking to an artist, we've been talking to a juror. I have Chris Doman with me, who's one of the moving forces behind this event, part of the Alberni Art Rave Society. Chris, you must be so pleased with the way this looks now that it's hung.
Very pleased. I had a little bit of worry about it to start with, but I think it's terrific. Right now we've got representational stuff, we've got abstract stuff, and there's something for everybody. And I think it's very colorful, and the train station again is wonderful to have it in.
It just transforms this building. It makes it, like you say, so colorful, so alive. And when I was talking with Todd, he talked a little bit about the theme. Well, that started from a quote, I believe, about forests. So the theme is forests.
It's what would life be like without forests, those natural cities? So we asked artists to react to that and to put their own take on it and to then produce a project. So they're so varied and so interesting to read. So we've put by each piece a summation of what they thought and how they worked it.
And that's everything from kelp forests to Dave Parsonishi's man in a wooden box. So life without forests, there's a lot of interpretations of that. And this is more than just an art show. When I think about it, this is part of the transformation of Port Alberni.
Well, we hope so. This is where it started. We said, well, what can we do on Argyle Street, the art zone? And so we looked up and down, lots of buildings and so on, and I think Wes zeroed in on this building as sort of an icon of Argyle Street, and with the cooperation of the Heritage Society and the city, this is what you get, and it's wonderful.
It is wonderful. And I mentioned right off the bat that some of the events are happening all week long, and this is one of them. The art is hanging in the train station. It's open every day?
Yes, yeah, it opens at 10 every day.
Every single day, so you can come on down.
It's free.
Now that's very important. It's free
Right.
to come down and see this.
Yep.
And there are also artists in some of the businesses around town?
Yes, there are
stores?
about 17 artists and businesses that have met up and have decided what they're going to do. So there are 17 artists here and there are 17 up and down the street. So, nearly 40 artists are involved in this.
So when you're shopping this week, look for an easel, look for some art hanging in that store and some information. I think those artists will be on site on the weekend, some of them?
Yep, they will be.
And the festival itself is taking place on the weekend, and that's what you probably remember from last year, the Art Rave Festival. And there's a lot going on with that.
So much so that I can't remember what times and things, but I'm sure we can put it up on our webpage and people can get the information from there.
You betcha, because I forget things like that too. But I know there is music, there are hands-on interactive projects. I think people get to make windsocks.
Yes.
And there will be artists doing demonstrations, so much that you really do have to go to the website. And Chris, I think there's also one more event well, more than one more event, but one more big event happening on Friday that people have to buy tickets for.
That's right. We like to feel that we are having a reception that's worthy of downtown Victoria. It's very exciting, lots of people meet each other, and it's a fun event.
Now, this is a wine and cheese reception happening on Friday.
Correct.
Friday night. I went last year. This was the place to be in the Alberni Valley. These rooms were packed.
Yeah.
The wine was lovely. The cheese and snacks being offered were delicious, and the tickets are well worth it. Where can they get them?
Jenny's Fine Foods has some. Gales Fashion have tickets, and I think the Roland Art Centre are selling tickets. And they are going, so if you want to come, move quickly.
And I'll second that. Move quickly. You do want to be here. I can guarantee that. Chris, we're going to be talking to you later on in the week, I think, because this is Art Rave Week. We're going to be talking about Art Rave all week long. So thank you so much for being here today.
Appreciate your interest.
Oh, I wouldn't be anywhere else.
Excellent.
And before we go, we're going to give you a profile of one of these fabulous artists, Pamela Hall Hunt. Well, that does bring us to the end of another Go Island. We're going to be talking about Art Rave all week long because it is Art Rave Week right here in the Alberni Valley. Until we meet again, be good to each other.
Aaron Vissia Financial Go Island is brought to you by Aaron Vissia Financial, supporting community and providing personalized advice and service to clients since 1996. Our team is ready to help you with your financial future.